Captain Leo sat in the cockpit of his small exploration ship, the Horizon, drifting past the glowing rings of the outer colony's planet, Allura 9. The stars stretched endlessly outside the window, twinkling like scattered diamonds on black silk. For Leo, the quiet of space had always been comforting. It gave him a chance to think, to plan, and to enjoy the solitude that only a human could find in the vastness of the galaxy. He adjusted his seat, sipping the warm synthetic tea he carried from Earth. His eyes scanned the control panels as the ship hummed steadily. Nothing unusual, just the familiar beep of the navigation system, the gentle vibration of the engines, and the endless void beyond. Then, without warning, a sound interrupted the steady rhythm. A sharp, urgent ping echoed through the cockpit. Leo frowned and checked the comm system. A signal was coming from a nearby star system, an unknown frequency. The transmission was unlike any standard human or colony message. The voice was melodic, yet commanding, with a tone that carried both urgency and authority. Captain. Human. Help. My daughter. Leo froze. He leaned closer to the microphone. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that. Who is this? There was a pause, filled, with a strange kind of tension that made the hairs on the back of Leo's neck stand up. Then the voice came again, clearer this time. Human. My daughter needs you. Please. Listen carefully. Leo's mind raced. He had heard rumors of alien life in nearby systems, but he had never encountered a direct message from one. And now an unknown species was calling him personally for help. All right, Leo said slowly, keeping his voice calm. I'm listening. Who are you? And why do you need my help? I am Queen Zora, ruler of the planet Kythera. My daughter, Princess Tali, has been taken by a rogue faction. They mean to harm her and threaten my people. Please, human, you are our only hope. Leo leaned back in his chair, trying to understand. Kythera, Princess Tali, rogue factions. The galaxy was full of stories, some true, most exaggerated. But the desperation in the voice, the fear and the trust placed in him, it was real. He glanced at the navigation panel, checking the star system coordinates the transmission had sent. Kythera was far, much farther than any standard patrol, route or exploration mission. The journey could take weeks, possibly months. And yet, something inside Leo urged him to act. Something that humans had carried for centuries. Courage, curiosity, and a willingness to face the unknown. After a long moment, Leo spoke. I don't know you, and I don't know your people, but I've never left someone in danger when I could help. Give me more details. What happened to your daughter? Queen Zora's voice trembled slightly, though her royal tone remained strong. A group of rebels, outcasts from my world, took her during a diplomatic visit. They seek to control Kythera by using her as leverage. My people, they cannot fight them alone. Only a human, your resourcefulness, can reach her in time. Leo's mind went through the calculations. Space travel to Kythera would be difficult. He would need to navigate asteroid belts, avoid unpredictable solar storms, and face unknown threats from a species he had never met. And yet, every instinct inside him, his sense of duty, his curiosity about life beyond humanity, and his desire to protect the innocent, urged him forward. All right, Queen Zora, he said finally. I'll help. But I need full coordinates, a description of your daughter, and any knowledge you have about these rebels. I can't promise perfection, but I promise I'll try. There was a long silence, and then Zora's voice softened, almost in relief. Thank you, human. Tali is young, brave, intelligent. She has a mind that can solve problems even we cannot foresee. Please, hurry. She has little time. Leo's fingers moved over the console, recording every detail, every coordinate, every warning. The stars outside seemed brighter now, as if the universe itself was watching him. As he prepared the horizon for departure, Leo felt a mix of fear and excitement. This mission was unlike any he had undertaken. There was no map, no guarantee of success, and no certainty of return. Yet, for the first time in months, Leo felt truly alive. He was not just exploring space, he was stepping into a story far bigger than himself. A story where humanity's courage and ingenuity might save an entire world. He made the final checks, calibrating the ship's engines for a long jump through the stars. The hum of the ship's power thrummed beneath him, a steady reminder that he was about to face the unknown. He paused, staring at the star system in the distance, glowing faintly through the cockpit window. "Hang on, Tally," he whispered too, the transmission echoing in his mind. "I'm coming, and I won't fail you!" With a deep breath, Leo pushed the throttle forward. The stars stretched into streaks of light as the horizon jumped into faster-than-light travel. The adventure had begun, and somewhere in the galaxy, a young alien princess waited for a human to change the fate of her world. And in that moment, Leo realized one undeniable truth. Humans were unpredictable, bold, and adaptable. In a universe filled with advanced species, that alone could make all the difference. The faster-than-light jump ended with a sudden jolt that pressed Leo back into his seat. Outside the cockpit, a new star system shimmered with colors he had never seen before. Kythera's planet hung in space like a jewel, its surface glowing with soft green-blue light. Massive crystal towers rose from the ground, reflecting the sun's rays in every direction, and rivers of liquid light snaked across the landscape. Leo exhaled, captivated. "So this is Kythera," he murmured to himself. "Beautiful. And dangerous, I'm sure." He carefully guided the horizon toward a landing platform that extended from a massive structure near the planet's capital city. It was unlike anything human engineering could create. Smooth, organic shapes fused with advanced technology, lights pulsing in rhythm with the planet's own energy. As the ship landed, the hatch opened, and a breeze unlike any Leo had felt before swept inside. It smelled sweet like blooming flowers, but also carried a faint metallic note. Leo stepped out, his boots making soft thuds on the glowing platform. The air was breathable, warm, and tinged with a strange kind of energy that made his skin tingle. Figure approached from the shimmering structure. Queen Zora was tall and regal, her presence commanding yet calm. Her skin had a faint iridescent glow, and her eyes were deep pools of green, reflecting intelligence and wisdom. She wore flowing robes that shimmered with the colors of her world, and a crown of delicate crystal filaments rested lightly on her head. "Captain Leo," she said, her voice calm but filled with urgency. "Thank you for coming. I know this is unusual." Leo nodded, keeping his hands visible to show he meant no harm. "I received your message, Queen Zora. I need to understand exactly what happened to your daughter and who is behind this." Zora led him inside the palace, and the interior was even more astonishing than the outside. The walls pulsed gently, with light, as if alive, and holographic displays floated in mid-air, showing maps, symbols, and communication logs. Leo walked carefully, taking in the technology that seemed advanced, yet elegant. "We will explain everything," Zora said as they reached a private chamber. "My daughter, Princess Tali, is brilliant beyond her years. She has been studying ways to protect our people, to strengthen our civilization against outside threats. But some of our own, the rogue faction, see her as a threat. They believe controlling her will give them power over all Kythera." Leo listened carefully. He had faced difficult situations before, but this was different. He was not only far from home, he was dealing with beings whose biology, society, and technology were unlike anything he had encountered. Still, he felt a familiar determination rise inside him. the same determination that had carried him through countless human challenges. "Where is she now?" Leo asked. Zora's expression tightened. "They have taken her to an isolated fortress on the edge of the obsidian expanse, a place where our sensors cannot easily reach. It is heavily guarded, and any direct attack would fail. We need someone who can think differently, someone who can adapt. That is why I contacted you." Leo nodded slowly. "All right, I'll need every detail you have. Maps, layouts, security systems, anything that can help me get her out safely." Zora placed her hand on a crystal console, and a holographic image of the fortress appeared above it. Leo leaned closer, studying the structure. It was massive, dark, and surrounded by jagged cliffs that dropped into clouds of green mist. Towers rose from the cliffs like black teeth, and small, glowing shapes, security drones, moved around the perimeter. "This place is nearly impossible to infiltrate," Leo said. "But nothing is impossible." Zora's eyes softened as if she understood the weight of his words. "Your people are known for courage and ingenuity. Even when we are trapped by rules and structure, humans find a way. That is why I trust you." Leo smiled faintly. "Flattery won't get you far, but thanks. I'll do my best. Now, tell me more about Tali, her skills, her habits, anything that can give me an edge." Zora's expression softened even further as she described her daughter. "Tali is clever, curious, and brave. She is not afraid to question authority, even mine. She notices details others overlook, and she can find solutions that escape even our most advanced minds. That is why the rogue faction fears her. They cannot predict what she will do. But that also means she is resourceful. If I know she is alive, and if you reach her, she may be able to help herself in ways I cannot imagine." Leo felt a surge of respect for the young princess. Humans often admired bravery and intelligence, and here was a being from another world whose mind reminded him of the best qualities of humanity itself. He thought about the challenge ahead. It would require precision, courage, and careful planning. But with Tali's mind and his experience, success was possible. After their discussion, Zora led Leo to a training room where he could prepare. The room was filled with holographic simulations, showing possible attack patterns, patrol routes, and environmental hazards. Leo moved through the simulations, testing scenarios, adjusting his plans, and visualizing every step. Every precaution mattered, but flexibility would matter more. As the sun, or what passed for a sun on Kythera, began to set, the room filled with a gentle golden glow. Leo paused for a moment, looking out the tall window at the crystalline towers sparkling in the evening light. He felt a strange connection to this world, a sense that the mission was bigger than a single rescue. It was about proving that humans, with their courage and adaptability, could make a difference even among the stars. Queen Zora approached quietly. "Captain Leo, I know this is a dangerous path, but my daughter and my people are counting on you. I believe you can succeed where others might fail." Leo turned to face her. "I won't let you down. We'll get Tali back safely, that's a promise." Zora nodded, a faint smile appearing on her face. "Then may the stars guide you, human, and may your courage light the way through darkness." Leo spent the night preparing, reviewing every piece of information Zora had given him, running simulations in his mind, and imagining the fortress in the obsidian expanse. He knew the journey ahead would be perilous, but he also knew one truth. Humans had a unique way of turning impossible odds into success. By morning, the horizon was ready. Leo stood at the edge of the landing platform, looking out at the sprawling alien city below. He could feel the pulse of Kythera itself, a world full of life, energy, and intelligence. Somewhere in the distance, Tali waited, and the rogue faction, remained unaware that a human had arrived, someone who would challenge their plans in ways they could not predict. With a deep breath, Leo climbed into his ship. The engines hummed as he lifted off, rising above the city and heading toward the obsidian expanse. The adventure had grown larger than a simple rescue. It was a test of human courage, intelligence, and the ability to face the unknown. And in that moment, Leo felt more alive than he had in years, knowing that one human could make a difference in a world light years away from home. The horizon cut through the soft glow of Kithra's upper atmosphere, leaving the city's crystal towers shrinking behind it. Captain Leo guided the ship toward the obsidian expanse, a vast and jagged stretch of cliffs, dark valleys, and swirling green mist. Sensors flickered as they detected energy signatures, small, unpredictable signals that indicated automated defenses or patrolling drones. Leo's hands moved carefully over the control panels, adjusting the ship's shields and navigation. "Systems. All right, Tali," he muttered under his breath. "We're coming for you, and nothing is going to stop us." As the hours passed, the expanse grew darker and more dangerous. Jagged rock formations jutted out of the mist like enormous teeth, and occasional flashes of light indicated unstable energy fields. The rogue faction had chosen their fortress carefully. It was in a place that seemed almost impossible to reach without being detected. Leo reviewed the holographic map Queen Zora had given him. The fortress sat atop a narrow plateau, surrounded by cliffs that dropped into the mist below. Patrols moved like clockwork, and energy barriers cut off obvious paths. A direct approach would be suicide. He studied every detail, remembering Zora's words about Tali. She notices details others. Overlook, resourceful, intelligent, Leo thought. That meant the princess might already be planning her own escape. All he had to do was reach her, coordinate, and find the right moment to act. Suddenly, the horizon's sensors picked up a movement, small, fast, and intelligent. Leo squinted at the screen. "Drones," he said quietly, "patrolling the expanse. They're using motion prediction algorithms. Clever, but not perfect." He adjusted the ship's course, using the jagged cliffs as cover. Each movement required precision. A wrong turn could trigger detection and a deadly response. The tension was palpable, every second stretching longer than the last. After what felt like hours, Leo found a narrow canyon that led toward the plateau. It was risky, with unstable rock formations above, but it offered the best chance of stealth. Carefully, he guided the ship through the canyon, dodging energy pulses from drone scanners. Each successful maneuver increased his confidence. But he knew the real challenge lay ahead, reaching the fortress undetected and finding Tali. When the horizon reached a clearing near the fortress, Leo stopped the ship. The plateau was directly ahead, its dark towers looming like silent sentinels. Automated turrets scanned the area, and guards moved in precise patterns. It was clear the rogue faction had anticipated intruders. Leo took a deep breath. "Okay, think, human," he muttered. "Rules, plans, improvisation, combine them all. This is what humans do best." He studied the patrol patterns, comparing them with simulations from Zora's data. Then he spotted a flaw, a small gap in the energy field that the algorithms seemed to ignore. It was narrow, dangerous, but it was the only opening. "I'll take it," Leo said. "One step at a time." He activated the Horizon's stealth systems and glided forward. The ship moved like a shadow, slipping past turrets and drones. Leo's heart raced, but his focus was sharp. Every decision mattered. Too fast, and the sensors would detect him. Too slow, and he might lose the opportunity to rescue Tali. Finally, the ship reached a hidden landing area just beneath the fortress. It was a small ledge, barely large enough to hold the craft. Leo secured the ship and activated his communicator. "Queen Zora, I've reached the perimeter. I'll need any final guidance." Zora's voice came through calm and steady. Leo, trust Tali. She may have already noticed your arrival. Observe first, act second. Your people's adaptability will guide you. Leo nodded. Adaptability. That was the key. He had to respond to situations as they arose, not rely entirely on plans or simulations. Every human trait Zora had praised, courage, quick thinking, resourcefulness, would now be tested. He prepared his suit, checking equipment, communication devices, and tools. Then, moving silently, he began the climb toward the fortress. The rock walls were steep, but he had trained for situations like this. Each step required concentration and care. A single slip could trigger alarms or worse. As he reached the lower levels of the fortress, he observed the guards. They were alien, with elongated limbs and luminous eyes, moving in a way that suggested both discipline and caution. They communicated with subtle signals, a language of gestures and lights. Leo realized quickly that direct confrontation would be disastrous. He needed to remain unseen until he reached Tali. He moved along the shadows, keeping to hidden paths and abandoned corridors. The fortress was larger inside than it appeared from outside. Rooms and hallways twisted like a maze, with occasional surveillance drones humming quietly above. Leo's human intuition guided him, remembering small details Zora had provided about the fortress's layout. Finally, he reached a secure door, a reinforced energy barrier separating him from the area where Tali was likely held. Leo studied it carefully, noting the patterns of energy pulses and security locks. He understood that brute force would fail. This required precision and careful timing. He pulled out a small device from his suit, a multi-purpose tool designed to interact with various technologies. Slowly, carefully, he synchronized it with the barrier's pulse patterns. Lights flickered, sensors scanned, and the door began to respond. A soft click signaled success. Leo slipped inside. The corridor beyond was dimly lit, lined with panels and machinery. He moved cautiously, aware that any noise or misstep could alert the guards. Then a faint voice reached him, not from his comm but nearby, clear and strong. "Who's there?" Leo froze. The voice was confident, intelligent, and unmistakably Tali's. He smiled under his mask. "Tali, it's me. I'm here to help. Can you hear me?" "Yes," her voice replied, steady despite the circumstances. "I've been trying to send signals, but they scramble them. I know someone would come. I can help too. I've already disabled a few systems." Leo felt a surge of relief. This wasn't just a rescue. Tali was an active participant. Her intelligence, resourcefulness, and bravery made the impossible now seem achievable. "Good. Stay calm and follow my instructions. We'll get out of this together." Tali nodded, though he couldn't see her. Leo's plan was simple but dangerous. Navigate through the fortress using stealth, avoid detection, and combine their skills to escape. Every step mattered, every decision counted, and every human trait, adaptability, courage, ingenuity, would be essential. As they moved deeper into the fortress, Leo realized something profound. This mission wasn't just about saving a princess. It was about proving that humans, with their unpredictability and ingenuity, could make a difference even in a universe filled with advanced civilizations. And in that realization, Leo felt a calm determination settle over him. The fortress loomed. Ahead, the dangers were real, but humanity had always thrived against impossible odds. Now, those same qualities would guide him through the shadows of the obsidian expanse, and toward a young alien princess who had already begun to show the universe the strength of human and alien collaboration. Leo and Tali moved silently through the fortress corridors. The soft hum of machinery and the distant footsteps of guards echoed like a heartbeat through the dark hallways. Every corner was a potential trap. every shadow a possible threat. But both were careful, alert, and focused. "This way," Tally whispered, pointing to a narrow side passage. I noticed these old maintenance tunnels when I was mapping the fortress. They aren't on the patrol scanners, but they lead closer to the central chamber where the rogue leader stays. Leo nodded. "Good thinking. Let's keep moving." He followed her through the twisting passages, careful to avoid loose panels and exposed wiring that might trigger alarms. Even with her help, it was tense work. The rogue faction had built this fortress to intimidate and control. Every detail was designed to detect intruders. As they walked, Tali explained more about the rogue faction. "They believe controlling me gives them power over all of Kithara. They want my research, my strategies for protecting the planet. But I've hidden most of it in encrypted systems. If they get their hands on it, it could be dangerous." Leo nodded, absorbing every word. "Then we have to be smart. Quick thinking, patience, and timing, your strengths and mine combined." They reached a junction where the tunnel split in 3 directions. Sensors on the walls occasionally flickered, scanning the air for movement. Leo paused, studying the patterns. "The middle path looks the riskiest but fastest," he said. "The left is safer, longer. The right leads to a dead end according to the map. We need to balance speed and stealth." Tali pointed to a small ventilation shaft above them. "There, I can climb through the shaft. It bypasses the patrol drones and leads directly toward the central chamber." Leo examined it carefully. It was narrow, barely wide enough for Tali. "You go first," he said. "I'll cover you if anything comes near." Tali climbed into the shaft with practiced agility. Leo stayed below, watching, heart pounding. Moments stretched into minutes, each sound amplified in the tense silence. Finally, Tali dropped silently on the other side. "All clear," she whispered. "We're in." They moved forward, using shadows and alcoves to avoid detection. Occasionally, glowing eyes of guards passed nearby, and automated drones scanned the air with bright beams. Leo and Tali stayed low, breathing slowly, waiting for the right moment to advance. Suddenly, a low hum filled the hallway. A patrol drone hovered into view, its sensors scanning the walls. Tali froze. Leo gestured for her to stay still. Slowly, carefully, he moved his hand over the drone's circuitry panel, using a small tool to interfere with its sensors. The lights flickered and then dimmed. The drone drifted away, harmless for now. "You're incredible," Leo whispered. Tali smiled faintly. "I've had practice. But we need to hurry before they notice anything missing." They continued toward the central chamber. The fortress's corridors became tighter, more complex, and more heavily guarded. Security doors blocked their path, each requiring careful observation or quick hacking to bypass. Every successful maneuver increased their confidence, but also the tension. One mistake could alert the entire fortress. Finally, they reached a large reinforced door. This was the central chamber. Leo crouched beside it, studying the energy locks and security patterns. "This is it," he said quietly. "We need to be careful. The rogue leader is inside, and we don't know how many guards are stationed here." Tali nodded. "I can disable the perimeter sensors temporarily. It will give us a short window to enter." She tapped her device on the door's control panel, and a faint pulse ran through the energy locks. A small section of the barrier flickered, just enough for them to slip through. They entered the chamber quietly. Inside, they saw the rogue leader, a tall figure cloaked in dark robes, with luminous eyes scanning holographic displays. Guards were stationed at strategic points, and energy barriers crisscrossed the room. Leo signaled to Tali. "We need to move fast, but stay hidden. Can you reach the control panel over there?" Tali nodded and darted silently toward the panel. Leo stayed behind, crouched in the shadows, ready to act if any guards approached. The air was tense, each heartbeat echoing in his ears. Suddenly, one of the guards shifted. Leo held his breath. Tali froze mid-step. The guard turned slowly, scanning the area. Leo's mind raced. He needed to distract the guard without raising alarm. Spotting a loose panel on the wall, he kicked it softly. It clattered to the floor, and the guard's attention snapped to the sound. Tali took advantage of the distraction, moving quickly to the control panel. She worked with practiced skill, overriding security systems and opening access doors. The energy barriers flickered and then shut down, creating a clear path. Leo moved forward silently. "Nice work," he whispered as they met near the center. Tali smiled. "Thanks, but we're not done yet. The leader might notice something. Missing soon. We need to get out before reinforcements arrive." Just as they prepared to move, an alarm sounded. A soft, warning pulse that spread across the chamber. One of the guards had triggered a secondary sensor. Leo's heart jumped. "We have company," he muttered. "Move!" They ran through the corridors, staying low and using shadows as cover. Patrols were alerted now, searching methodically. Tali guided Leo through hidden passages, avoiding the main hallways. Drones hovered and scanned aggressively, but Leo's quick thinking and Tali's knowledge kept them ahead. They reached a small service elevator that led toward the surface. Leo activated it, and the doors opened with a soft hiss. They slipped inside, pressing the button to ascend. The elevator moved slowly, giving the pursuing guards time to close in. Leo and Tali held their breath, every second feeling like an eternity. The sound of footsteps and mechanical hums grew louder, but the elevator reached the surface just in time. They emerged onto a cliffside ledge outside the fortress. Below, the swirling green mist of the obsidian expanse stretched endlessly. Leo looked at Tali. "We made it this far. Now we have to get back to the ship." Tali nodded. "Follow me. I know a path through the cliffs that avoids the main patrols." As they moved, Leo realized something important. This mission was more than a rescue. It was a test of human adaptability, courage, and intelligence. The rogue faction had expected to control the situation, but the combination of human determination and Tali's resourcefulness had given them an edge. Together, they navigated the treacherous cliffs, careful to avoid falling into the mist below. Every step required focus, every movement precision. Yet, Leo felt a quiet confidence growing inside him. The human spirit had carried him this far, and it would carry them the rest of the way. Finally, in the distance, the lights of the horizon gleamed softly on a hidden plateau. Leo's heart lifted. "Almost there," he whispered. "One more stretch and we'll be safe." Tali smiled, her eyes shining with relief. "We'll make it. Together." The human and the young alien princess moved forward, side by side, ready to face whatever final challenges awaited them outside the fortress walls. The wind howled across the obsidian expanse as Leo and Tali raced along the narrow cliff paths. The green mist below swirled like living water, hiding the depths and dangers that awaited anyone who fell. Every step was careful, but fast. They knew the rogue faction would not let them escape without a fight. "Almost there," Tali whispered, glancing back. "They're close." Leo's eyes narrowed. He could see movement in the mist below, guards moving quickly, their luminous eyes cutting through the fog. The rogue faction had dispatched reinforcements immediately after the alarm. Leo realized they had only minutes before the cliffside path became too dangerous. "Keep your balance," he said, his voice calm but firm. "We can't afford a misstep." The path twisted and turned along jagged rock faces. Tali led the way, confident in her knowledge of the expanse. Leo followed closely, keeping an eye on the pursuing forces. Every sound echoed across the cliffs. Every shadow seemed alive. Yet, they pressed forward, determined not to be captured. Suddenly, a patrol appeared ahead, 2 guards moving carefully, blocking the path. Leo stopped and signaled to Tali. They needed a plan, and fast. I can distract them, Leo said quietly. When they look away, you move. Tali nodded. Be careful. Leo picked up a small rock and tossed it into the mist below. It clattered loudly, drawing the guards' attention. They turned instantly, scanning the area. Seizing the opportunity, Tali dashed past them, moving like a shadow. Leo followed closely, keeping low and using the rocks for cover. The guards shouted, alarms, calling for reinforcements, but Leo and Tali were already weaving along the cliffs, invisible among the jagged stones. Head for the ridge, Tali said, pointing to a faint path leading upward. It leads to a hidden landing zone where the horizon is waiting. Leo followed, climbing carefully. The cliffside grew steeper, the path narrower. Below, the mist churned ominously, and the sounds of pursuit grew louder. The rogue faction would not give up easily. As they approached the ridge, a sudden flash of light lit the path, an energy net fired from above by a hovering drone. Leo pushed Tali behind a rock, narrowly avoiding the trap. "They're trying to trap us," he shouted. Tali pulled out a small device. "I can override it temporarily, but we need to move fast." She tapped the controls, and the net shimmered, then dissolved into harmless energy strands. "Go!" Leo yelled. They sprinted the final stretch, hearts pounding, legs burning with exertion. Ahead, the horizon waited, engines glowing softly in the dim light. As they reached the ship, more drones appeared, scanning aggressively. Leo grabbed Tali's hand. "Hold on tight," he said. "We're going up." The horizon lifted off just as the first drone fired. Energy pulses streaked through the air, narrowly missing the hull. Leo maneuvered skillfully, dodging and weaving through the mist and cliffs. The rogue faction's forces followed, relentless and determined, but Leo's quick thinking kept the ship safe. Tali looked at him with awe. "You're amazing," she said, holding tight to the railing. Leo smiled briefly. "Humans survive because we adapt. That's what we do." The chase continued through the jagged cliffs. Drones and energy turrets tried to predict their movements, but Leo's instincts and Tali's guidance kept them ahead. The horizon glided, dipped, and rose, using the landscape for cover. Suddenly, a massive drone appeared, larger and more powerful than the others. It fired a concentrated energy beam at the ship, forcing Leo to make a split-second decision. "Hold on!" he shouted, turning sharply. The ship spiraled, narrowly avoiding the beam, and Leo used the momentum to dive behind. A cliff overhang. The drone followed, but collided with the rocks, sending sparks flying. Tali gasped. "That was too close," Leo nodded, breathing heavily. "We're not out yet. They'll keep coming." They continued upward, leaving the expanse behind. The cliffs grew smaller as the landscape opened into a vast valley below. Leo scanned the skies. "Almost clear," he said. "Once we reach the canyon, we can jump to hyperdrive." Tali looked nervous but determined. "Let's do it." The ship entered the canyon, twisting and turning to avoid the remaining patrols. Energy beams fired from cliffside turrets, but Leo anticipated each one, weaving with precision. The canyon narrowed, the walls almost brushing the hull. Tali's guidance proved invaluable, warning him of sudden turns and hidden dangers. Finally, they reached an open stretch. Leo engaged the hyperdrive. The horizon surged forward, disappearing in a streak of light. Behind them, the fortress and the expanse faded into the distance, the rogue faction's forces unable to follow. Tali exhaled deeply. "We did it," she whispered. Leo allowed himself a small smile. "For now," he said, "but we need to plan our next steps. They won't give up easily, and we have to protect Kythera. And you." Tali nodded, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, Leo. You saved me, not just my life, but my hope. Leo looked at her, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the strength of human courage. It's what we do, he said simply. Humans face impossible odds and find a way. That's how we survive and thrive. The horizon soared, through space, leaving the danger behind for now. Yet Leo knew the universe was vast, filled with unknown threats. But with determination, intelligence, and courage, humans, and those who trusted them, could face anything. As they set a course back to Queen Zora's city, Tali looked out at the stars. "I've learned so much today," she said softly. "About courage, about trust, about humans." Leo nodded, feeling a sense of pride. "And I've learned something too," he said. "Even in the darkest places, cooperation and quick thinking can overcome the impossible. Together, humans and others can change the course of events." The ship moved steadily toward safety, engines humming, lights glowing softly. The rogue faction had been thwarted, for now, but the adventure had only begun. Leo and Tali had survived. The first great trial, proving that intelligence, bravery, and trust were the most powerful weapons in the universe. And in that moment, both knew that the challenges ahead would be met not with fear, but with the steadfast spirit of humans. Undaunted, inventive and courageous, ready to face whatever awaited in the endless stars. The horizon glided smoothly through the quiet space, stars stretching like silver threads in every direction. Leo sat in the cockpit, hands steady on the controls, while Tali studied the holographic map before her. Both were tired, but alert. The escape from the rogue fortress had tested their courage, intelligence, and patience, but it had also strengthened their trust in each other. "Queen Zora's city is still hours away," Tali said softly. "We need to prepare for what comes next. The rogue faction will not stop here." Leo nodded. "We've seen what they can do, but we also know their weaknesses now. Planning carefully will give us the advantage." The hum of the ship was a quiet companion as they moved closer to Kithara's capital. The city's lights gleamed in the distance, clusters of luminous towers rising above the misty plains. It was a city of hope, built to protect and guide its people, and soon Leo and Tali would return with critical knowledge of the enemy's plans. As the ship entered the city's orbit, Tali activated the communications array. A soft voice responded immediately. "Tali, is that you?" "Mother," Tali said, relief and urgency in her voice. "We've returned safely, but the rogue faction is still active. We need your guidance and your army." Queen Zora's image appeared, luminous and commanding. Her eyes softened as they rested on Tali, then narrowed as she studied Leo. "Human," she said with quiet authority. "You have proven yourself worthy. Your courage and skill have saved my daughter. For that, I am grateful. But the fight is not over." Leo bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We need a plan to stop them before they strike again." Queen Zora nodded. "You will have it. But first, rest. Gather your strength. The next steps will require all of your courage and intelligence." Tali and Leo descended to the city below. The horizon landed in a secure hangar, its engines winding down with a soft sigh. Guards approached, bowing respectfully to Tali and offering nods to Leo. Though he was human, the aliens in the city recognized his bravery, their respect quiet, but firm. Once inside the palace, Tali led Leo to a secure chamber. Holographic displays lit the walls, showing the city's defenses and the surrounding regions. Queen Zora joined them, her presence commanding yet warm. "The rogue faction has grown bolder," she explained. "They've taken control of a mining colony to the north. If we do not act quickly, they will use it as a base to attack our cities and villages." Leo studied the map carefully. "Their patterns are predictable in some ways," he said. They rely heavily on direct attacks and drones for surveillance. They seem to underestimate the value of intelligence and stealth. Tali nodded. Exactly. We can use that against them. We know their patrol schedules, their weaknesses, and the terrain around their positions. We can plan a strike that avoids direct confrontation until we're ready to end this. Queen Zora's eyes glimmered with approval. You speak with wisdom beyond your years. Humans truly do have a unique way of thinking, strategic, adaptable, and bold. Leo felt a quiet pride. It's about preparation, observation, and trust. With the right plan, we can protect your people and stop the rogue faction before they harm anyone else. The three spent hours reviewing every detail of the enemy's movements. Tali contributed knowledge of the local terrain and hidden paths. Leo offered human strategies, improvisation techniques, and methods for using limited resources efficiently. Together, they built a plan that combined stealth, intelligence, and precision strikes. Finally, Queen Zora leaned back, her expression both serious and confident. This plan will work, but it will require courage, loyalty, and precise timing. Leo, will you lead the strike team? Leo's jaw set firmly. I will. We won't fail. Tali reached out, placing a hand on his arm. And you won't be alone. We will be with you, guiding the team and helping where we can. The night fell over the city, but the chamber glowed with light and determination. They rehearsed the plan again and again, visualizing every step and potential obstacle. Leo felt the weight of responsibility, but also a strong sense of purpose. Humans had a history of facing impossible odds, and now he was using that spirit to protect an entire world. As dawn approached, Tali and Leo stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the city. The morning mist glowed with soft light, and the towers of the capital shimmered like gems. You're brave, Tali said softly. And not just because you fight, you inspire courage in others. Leo looked at her, a faint smile on his face. Courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about acting even when you are afraid. And seeing you fight alongside me makes that easier. Tali's eyes shone. Then we'll face this together, no matter what comes. Below, the city was waking, citizens moving through streets and bridges, unaware of the danger looming to the north. Yet in the hearts of Leo, Tali, and Queen Zora, there was a shared determination. They had escaped impossible odds before, and they would confront the rogue faction with intelligence, courage, and unity. Back in the planning chamber, Leo reviewed the final preparations. Drones were ready for reconnaissance, energy shields were reinforced, and the strike team was briefed on every contingency. Every detail was accounted for, yet Leo knew that flexibility would be key. Plans could change, and the human mind, and their trust in each other, would be their greatest weapon. Queen Zora placed a hand on Tali's shoulder. You have grown strong, my daughter, and you have chosen a human who represents the best of his species. Together you will restore balance and protect our people. Tali nodded, feeling a surge of confidence and trust. We will, Mother. We won't fail. Leo glanced at the holographic map once more, studying the enemy's positions. We start at dawn, he said, and by nightfall, the rogue faction will no longer threaten this planet. The first rays of light touched the city, casting long shadows over the towers and bridges. The calm before the storm was quiet but filled with promise. Leo felt the steady beat of courage within him, a reminder of why humans survived in even the harshest conditions. They adapted, they fought, and they never gave up. And soon that courage would be tested again, not just for survival, but to protect hope, life, and the future of an entire world. The sun had just risen over the northern valley, casting long shadows across jagged rocks and abandoned settlements. Leo and the strike team moved silently through the terrain, using the cover of mist and natural formations. Tali guided them. From above in a small reconnaissance ship, her keen eyes scanning the enemy's position. "This way," Tali whispered into the communicator, pointing to a narrow ravine. "The patrols avoid it. You can get closer without being detected." Leo led the team carefully, every step measured. Humans were known for their ingenuity, their ability to think ahead and adapt quickly, and today that skill would make all the difference. Below, the rogue faction's mining colony sprawled like a mechanical nest, its energy towers pulsing and drones patrolling in regular patterns. The enemy seemed confident, unaware that the humans and their allies had learned their habits. Leo studied the layout carefully, noting weak points and blind spots. "Drones first," he said. "Disable their eyes before they see us." A team of specialized humans advanced, moving with precision. They planted small, silent EMP devices near the towers. The devices emitted a soft hum, then a pulse of energy disabled the drones in sequence. One by one, the enemy's surveillance systems fell silent. "Excellent," Tali whispered, her voice calm but full of tension. "You've done it. They won't know we're here until it's too late." Leo nodded, motioning the team forward. The mining colony was heavily guarded, but the humans' combination of stealth, planning, and adaptability gave them the upper hand. They moved like shadows, climbing walls, avoiding patrols, and disabling key equipment without raising alarms. Suddenly, a rogue commander appeared, scanning the area. Leo froze, assessing the situation. The commander had powerful armor and a personal shield, making direct confrontation risky. "Leave him for last," Leo instructed. "Focus on the colony's control center. That's the heart of their operation." The team advanced quickly, finding the control center partially hidden in a rock formation. Inside, they encountered more guards, but the humans used clever distractions and speed to subdue them silently. Every move was calculated, every step precise. Finally, Leo reached the central console. Tali's voice guided him. "The energy. Lines are vulnerable from the east side. You can shut down their shields and cut communications simultaneously." Leo tapped rapidly, overriding the system. Alarms began to flash in the distance, but it was too late. The colony's defenses were already failing. Energy shields flickered and drones powered down. Panic spread among the rogue faction, and confusion took hold. Outside, the rogue commander advanced toward Leo, shield raised. Leo took a deep breath, assessing his options. He remembered every principle humans had relied on through centuries: adapt, improvise, and never surrender. Using a narrow passage, Leo maneuvered around the commander, creating a shadowed path. He dodged energy blasts and used a small device to reflect the attacks back. The commander was strong, but Leo's quick thinking and agility allowed him to stay ahead. "Now!" Tali shouted. She guided a small strike team to flank the commander. From above, surrounded, the rogue leader realized defeat was inevitable. With a final attempt to escape, he was intercepted and captured by the humans. The mining colony fell silent, no longer a threat. The strike team regrouped, exhausted but victorious. Leo took a deep breath, looking at the horizon where the sun now fully illuminated the valley. "We did it," Tali said, her voice full of relief and pride. "The colony is secure, and the rogue faction's power is broken." Queen Zora's ship arrived shortly after, her presence calm and authoritative. "You have done more than I could have hoped," she said, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Your courage has saved lives and restored balance. You have proven that humans are capable of incredible things." Leo bowed slightly, humility mixing with pride. "We acted together," he said. "Not just humans, but everyone who trusted and helped us. That's how we win, through cooperation and courage." Tali smiled, placing a hand on Leo's shoulder. "You taught me that fear is not weakness. It's a signal to act wisely. And humans, you've shown me hope can overcome even the darkest threats." The Queen nodded. Indeed. Today, humans have reminded us why we respect your species. You adapt, you think, and you fight for what is right. And that is a lesson no enemy can overcome. As the team returned to the city, celebrations began. Citizens gathered, their faces full of awe and gratitude. Stories of Leo's bravery spread quickly, inspiring others. The humans and Kitharans alike shared a sense of unity and triumph. In the palace, Tali led Leo to a balcony overlooking the city. "We faced impossible odds," she said softly, "and yet we overcame them together." Leo looked at the horizon, feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. "This is just the beginning," he said. "The universe is full of challenges, but humans, and those who trust in courage and intelligence, will always find a way." Tali nodded, her eyes reflecting determination. "And we will face them together, for Kithara, for hope, for life itself." The sun rose higher, bathing the city in light. For the first time in weeks, the valley and its people were safe. The rogue faction had been defeated, their power broken, and the future of Kithara and its alliance with humans looked brighter than ever. Leo turned to Tali. "You've grown so much through this," he said. "Courage, strategy, trust. You have all the qualities of a true leader." Tali smiled, feeling stronger and more confident than ever. "And you've shown me that humans are capable of more than I imagined. We can face anything if we think. Carefully, act wisely, and support each other." Together they watched as the city below celebrated. The lights shimmered like stars, reflecting the hope and resilience of those who had survived, fought, and triumphed. In that moment, Leo understood something essential. Human courage was not about power or weapons. It was about intelligence, determination, and the willingness to act even in impossible situations. Queen Zora appeared beside them, smiling warmly. "This victory is yours, Leo," she said, "but it is also a reminder that courage and cooperation can change the fate of worlds. Never forget that." Leo nodded. "We won today," he said, "but we will always prepare for tomorrow." That is the way humans face the universe, always ready, always thinking, always brave. And as the city celebrated below, Leo and Tali stood together on the balcony, looking out at the endless horizon. The stars stretched across the sky, full of mystery, challenge, and opportunity. And in that vastness, human courage and intelligence shone brightest, undaunted, inventive, and unstoppable. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers and hidden wonders. But today, a human had proven once again that even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope, intelligence, and courage could triumph. And that was a lesson no force, no enemy, and no darkness could ever erase.